You're on the Unpopular Opinion Show with Johnny Caruso. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Got to pop my collar a little bit as things are starting to heat up between LSU and Clemson. Who is the real Tiger? Guess we're going to find out. Well, I know y'all want to know who is the real Death Valley. I got my takes on that. Well, look, if you're new to the show, we got the topics up here on the right. We'll run through them real quick. And when we get to the end, I'll give my unpopular opinion. This is the Unpopular Opinion Show with me, your host, Johnny Caruso. Let's take it to the top.
Our Palmetto sports director, Carmine DeMay, is in Clemson with reaction to some pretty bold claims from LSU's head coach.
Late next month, the Clemson Tigers' first game will be hosting the LSU Tigers. Those Tigers call Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Death Valley, while these Tigers call Clemson, South Carolina, Death Valley. When I asked LSU head coach Brian Kelly about the Clemson matchup at SEC Media Days, he said this.
It's also a program that is regarded as a premier program. And so we've got an incredible challenge, one that we're excited about, one that we're looking forward to. We still think we are the Death Valley. They can use the name too. We're letting them borrow it.
So I brought those comments here to this Death Valley for Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney's reaction.
There's always fuel for the fire, and you can take whatever you want, whatever. Everybody's different. They can be motivated by, different things along the way. Michael Jordan used to make stuff up, right? Those of you who follow Michael Jordan, he'd just make stuff up, whether it was true or not, because that was how he motivated himself on some things. But everybody's different in that regard, but that ain't gonna have nothing to do with blocking and tackling and executing on game day. So it makes it fun, but just go focus on what we got to do.
I also asked first-year defensive coordinator Tom Allen if he uses comments like Coach Kelly's as bulletin board material or tries to ignore them completely.
Yeah, I'm a block out the noise guy. I use the phrase in my coaching career, earmuffs and blinders, you block it out. You don't hear the outset. But here's the thing about that. When you think about an earmuff, it just muffles what you hear because you're going to hear things, right? And so, and blinders aren't like this. Blinders are like this. You can still see. You got a focus. And to me, the focus is we got to play our best football right out of the gate, and that's the focus. We got to be at our best week one.
I wouldn't get caught up into it as a player, and so I'm not going to get caught up into it as a coach because it doesn't mean anything. Because at the end of the day, guys got to go out there and play, and a name on the stadium obviously is very meaningful to our university, but being Death Valley is not going to win the game. The guys that's on the field, that's out there playing, that's what win games. And so we have an awesome home field. Hopefully, come game day, it'll be loud. And I know Tiger fans that's in South Carolina, I know they'll show up on that day.
Just adding a little more fuel to the fire when the Tigers face the Tigers in a top 10 matchup under the lights to start the season here.
All right. It's heating up. Little smack talking between the coaches, which is kind of unusual. You hear the players going back and forth, but you don't hear the coaches talking much. Let's get to the next topic real quick before I give y'all my final unpopular opinion of the day. Did Dabo Swinney really call his own shot? Is he saying they're going to go 16-0? Let's check it out.
Dabo's out here saying they're going 16-0. You saw that?
I did see that, actually.
No, he didn't. Shut up, dorky LSU fan. Yes, I can make fun of my own, too. If I got to have one more of you losers send me this, you heard Dabo said they're going 16-0? No, he didn't. Here's the quote. Quote, I've had one undefeated team. In 2018, we were the first 15-0 team in the history of major college football ever. And I think we're going to be the first 16-0 team. It's a race to do that. That's what he said. He wasn't making a prediction that they were going to do it this year. He's not predicting they're going 16-0. He's saying it's a race to do that. That's the goal. And of course it's the goal. It's everybody's goal to go undefeated and win the national championship. And if you're Dabo and you've won 2 national titles and played in a couple of other championships.
You gotta love a little smack talk, especially before a football game. I used to be opposed to it, but I mean, who gives a shit, right? I really, if you could back it up on the field, but if you don't back it up on the field, you get egg on your face. So this is just one of them things. So who is the real Death Valley? Look, I think we all know Clemson. They started that Death Valley thing. I think LSU, I think that was a war place. The field was actually a real Death Valley, like a real war place. But the field itself wasn't actually named Death Valley. But it was actually a real Death Valley during, like, you know, the French Revolution, you know, all those wars that they had there in Baton Rouge in Louisiana some 300-400 years ago. It was a real Death Valley. That whole area where the football field is, it was all, you know, that whole battlefield. But they didn't name it Death Valley until after Clemson named theirs Death Valley. But let's get it right. If you're from Baton Rouge, you're an LSU fan like me, we don't go like, man, I'm going to Death Valley today. We say we're going to Tiger Stadium. How about them Tigers? It's Tiger Stadium. I know there's two names to it, you know, but for real fans, we don't call it Death Valley. Just so y'all know, y'all Clemson fans out there, we call it Tiger Stadium. You know, and that's just what it is. That's what us homers call it. We don't get into the whole Death Valley. I think it's cool to hear it on Saturday nights when the media on ESPN, the announcers get up there and say, "Oh, you're in Death Valley's Saturday night game in Death Valley. Chances of rain 0." You know what I'm saying? But we call it Tiger Stadium, you know, because it is Tiger Stadium. That's the name of it. And I guess Death Valley is the nickname. Hell, I don't even know. But we go by Tiger Stadium. Death Valley is just for media pundits to, you know, just drum up some shit. But we are the real Tiger. Don't get it mistaken here. We the real Tigers at LSU. You know, when you mention the Tigers in the SEC, there's only one team you mentioning. You're not mentioning Auburn. And I mean, Clemson came about recently, you know. I would say their program and LSU program over the past 20 years, 20, 30 years is about neck and neck. I would say that. But we went head-to-head in the national title. So we'll just give them is this a revenge game for them? I guess you could say that, you know, to kind of say, hey, look, we at least got to get on par with them, right? Because they are, but we got that stepping stone with the national title win. Because I think we both have like 3 national titles since like 2003 or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know if this puts them on par with us if they beat us. But you might as well say it does, because then this would be 6 years in a row we lost our season opener. And look, there ain't nothing to brag about at that point. So yeah, we need to beat them to really, this is more about us, to solidify us, reclaim our spot in college football as one of the blue bloods, one of the dominants. You know, we need to reclaim our spot. You know, say what you want about Les Miles and Orgeron, but they pretty much averaged 10-win seasons. You know, at the end of Orgeron's career, he had 2 500-600 subpar seasons. And hell, I don't even know if Les Miles ever had a subpar season, but I mean, them guys averaged 10-win seasons, you know, 9 and 10 wins. But yeah, so who's the real Tiger? LSU. Where's the real Death Valley? Clemson. But ain't nothing like Tiger Stadium, baby. Go Tigers. All right, guys. If you like our content, please subscribe to the channel and we'll keep posting you more as they come in, from LSU football to SEC football to college football. We're going to give you everything we can over here at the Unpopular Opinion Show. This is 360 LSU SEC football. I'm your host, Johnny Caruso. Until next time, go Tigers.
Right, one to his left. 50 yards off the football are 4 Kentucky defensive backs. Randall rolling right. He's set. He heaves it down the middle of the field for Clayton. It's batted into the air. Oh!